Today I'm going to tell you about 18-year-old Nadia's story from Gaza, Palestine. She was just 3 months away from starting university, 3 months away from fulfilling her lifelong dream of becoming a doctor. But when her mother received devastating news that would change their family forever, Nadia faced an impossible choice. Would she pursue her own dreams or sacrifice everything to save the woman who had given her life? What would you do if you had to choose between your future and your mother's survival? Imagine being 18 years old, accepted to medical school, your whole future mapped out in front of you, and then discovering that pursuing your dreams means watching your mother die. I know this might be heartbreaking to hear, but imagine if this were your own daughter facing such an unthinkable decision. Before we continue, please subscribe to our channel so we can keep sharing these important stories from Palestine. What did Nadia choose to sacrifice for her mother? And how did this decision change both their lives forever? Stay with me until the end to find out. 18-year-old Nadia Qassemi had been dreaming of becoming a doctor since she was 7 years old. Growing up in Gaza City, Palestine, she had watched her neighbors struggle with medical problems that could have been easily treated if they had access to proper healthcare. One day, "I'm going to help people get better," she would tell her mother, Samir, while playing with a toy stethoscope that her father had bought for her birthday. Nadia was the eldest of 3 children. Her younger brother Samir was 15 and dreamed of becoming an engineer, while her little sister Yasmin was only 12 but already showed signs of inheriting Nadia's academic brilliance. Their father, Abu Samir, worked as a school principal, and their mother had been a teacher before she stopped working to focus on raising their children. The Qassemi family had always prioritized education above everything else. Even when money was tight, Abu Samir would say, "We can eat less, but we cannot learn less." He worked extra hours tutoring students to pay for his children's books and school supplies. Samir would stay up late helping them with homework, even when she was exhausted from managing the household. Nadia had always been an exceptional student. Throughout high school, she maintained perfect grades while also helping her mother care for her younger siblings and managing household responsibilities. Her teachers called her the future of Palestinian medicine, and her parents couldn't have been prouder of their brilliant daughter. In her final year of high school, Nadia took the Palestinian University entrance exams and scored in the top 2% of all students in Gaza. When the acceptance letter arrived from the medical college, the entire family celebrated as if they had won the lottery. "My daughter, the doctor," Samir had said with tears of joy in her eyes, holding the acceptance letter like it was made of gold. But university tuition was expensive, far beyond what Abu Samir could afford on his principal's salary. The family had been saving for years, and Nadia had also been working part-time as a tutor to contribute to her education fund. They had managed to save enough for the first year's tuition and living expenses, but it would be a significant financial stretch for the family. If this story is touching your heart so far, please give it a like. Can you imagine if your own child had to make impossible choices between their education and their family's well-being? Let's continue with Nadia's incredible journey of love and sacrifice. 2 months before Nadia was supposed to start university, Samir began experiencing severe stomach pains that she initially dismissed as stress from preparing for her daughter's departure. "It's just nerves," she would tell her family when they expressed concern about her loss of appetite and constant fatigue. But the pain continued to worsen, and finally, Abu Samir insisted that his wife see a doctor. After a series of tests at Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza, Dr. Mahmoud called the family in for a consultation that would change their lives forever. "Mrs. Qassemi has a serious condition that requires immediate treatment," Dr. Mahmoud explained gently to the worried family. "She has a large tumor that needs to be surgically removed, followed by an intensive treatment program. Without proper medical intervention, the prognosis is very serious." The room fell silent as the family processed this devastating news. Nadia felt the world spinning around her as she watched her mother, her best friend, her biggest supporter, her source of strength, sitting quietly with tears streaming down her face. "What kind of treatment?" Abu Samir asked, his voice barely a whisper. Dr. Mahmoud looked uncomfortable as he delivered the financial details. "The surgery and treatment program will cost approximately $15,000. Unfortunately, this type of specialized care is not available here in Gaza, so Mrs. Qassemi would need to travel to a hospital in Jordan or Egypt." $15,000. The exact amount that the family had saved for Nadia's medical education. That night, the family sat around their kitchen table in stunned silence. The money that was supposed to launch Nadia's career as a doctor was now the only thing that could save her mother's life. But if they used the money for Samir's treatment, there would be nothing left for Nadia's university tuition. "We'll find another way," Abu Samir said finally, though his voice lacked conviction. "Maybe we can get a loan, or ask relatives for help." But Nadia had already made up her mind. At 18 years old, she displayed a maturity and selflessness that would have impressed adults twice her age. "There is no other way, Baba," she said quietly. "And there is no decision to make. Mama's life is more important than my dreams." Samir looked at her daughter with a mixture of gratitude and heartbreak. "Nadia, my darling, I cannot let you sacrifice your future for me. You've worked so hard for this opportunity." "Mama," Nadia replied, taking her mother's hands in hers, "you've sacrificed your entire life for us. You stopped working to take care of us. You stayed up countless nights helping us with homework. You went without things you needed so we could have what we wanted. Now it's my turn to take care of you." The decision was made that night, though it broke everyone's heart. The next morning, Nadia went to the medical college and formally withdrew her acceptance, explaining that family circumstances had changed. The admissions officer tried to convince her to defer for a year rather than withdraw completely, but Nadia knew that her family's financial situation was unlikely to improve anytime soon. With the money that had been saved for Nadia's education, the family was able to arrange for Samir's surgery in a private hospital in Jordan. Abu Samir took a leave of absence from his job to accompany his wife, while Nadia stayed home to care for Samir and Yasmin. During the 3 weeks that her parents were in Jordan, 18-year-old Nadia essentially became the head of the household. She managed the family's finances, helped her siblings with their schoolwork, maintained the house, and somehow found time to work extra tutoring hours to help cover the family's living expenses while Abu Samir was not earning his salary. When will young people like Nadia be able to pursue their educational dreams without having to choose between their futures and their family's survival? When will healthcare be accessible enough that saving one life doesn't mean destroying another person's dreams? Every student deserves the chance to fulfill their potential without impossible sacrifices. The surgery in Jordan was successful, and after 2 weeks of recovery, Samir and Abu Samir returned home. The doctors had managed to remove the tumor completely, and while Samir would need follow-up care and monitoring, her prognosis was excellent. But returning home also meant facing the reality of what Nadia had given up. Her former classmates had started university, posting excited photos on social media of their first days in medical school. Nadia would watch these updates with a bittersweet mixture of happiness for her friends and sadness for her own lost opportunity. "I don't regret my decision," she told her mother one evening as they sat together on their small balcony. "But I won't lie and say it doesn't hurt to see everyone else starting the life I had planned." Samir, who was recovering well but still weak, took her daughter's hand. "Nadia, my brave girl, your sacrifice has given me not just life, but time. Time to see you eventually become the doctor you were meant to be. Time to see Samir and Yasmin graduate. Time to be your mother for many more years." What happened next would prove that sometimes when we sacrifice our dreams for love, the universe finds a way to honor both our sacrifice and our aspirations. 3 months after Samir's surgery, Dr. Layla Hassan, a Palestinian-American physician who had grown up in Gaza but now practiced in the United States, was visiting Al-Shifa Hospital as part of a medical mission. During her visit, she heard about Nadia's story from Dr. Mahmoud, who had been impressed by the young woman's maturity and selflessness. Dr. Layla asked to meet with Nadia, and when they sat together in the hospital cafeteria, she said something that would change everything. "I heard about what you did for your mother. That level of compassion and sacrifice tells me more about your character than any exam score ever could. I want to help you become the doctor you were meant to be." Dr. Layla explained that she ran a scholarship foundation specifically designed to help Palestinian students who had demonstrated exceptional character and faced financial hardships. "Education delayed is not education denied," she told Nadia. "Your sacrifice has actually prepared you for medicine in ways that sitting in a classroom never could." Within 6 months, all the arrangements had been made. Nadia would receive a full scholarship to study medicine, including tuition, living expenses, and even a small stipend to help support her family. The scholarship program also included a guarantee that after completing her education, Nadia would have the opportunity to work with Dr. Layla's medical mission programs, bringing healthcare to underserved communities in Palestine and other regions. But perhaps most importantly, the scholarship program had also arranged for ongoing medical care for Samir, ensuring that her recovery would be monitored and that any future health needs would be addressed without financial burden on the family. When Nadia received the news about the scholarship, she cried for the first time since her mother's diagnosis. But these were tears of joy and relief. Her sacrifice had not only saved her mother's life but had also opened a door to an even better future than she had originally imagined. 1 year later, Nadia began her medical studies with a depth of understanding about healthcare, family, and sacrifice that her fellow students would take years to develop. Her professors noted that she approached her studies with unusual maturity and compassion, always remembering that behind every medical case was a real family facing real challenges. During her summer breaks, Nadia would return to Gaza to work as a volunteer at Al-Shifa Hospital, gaining practical experience while also giving back to her community. Dr. Mahmoud, who had delivered her mother's original diagnosis, became her mentor and was amazed by her clinical skills and bedside manner. "You have the hands of a surgeon and the heart of a healer," he told her during one of her volunteer rotations. "Your mother's illness was a tragedy, but your response to it revealed the kind of doctor you were always meant to become." Today, Nadia is in her 4th year of medical school and is specializing in oncology, the same field that saved her mother's life. She has already been accepted into a prestigious residency program and has published research on cancer treatment accessibility in developing regions. Samir, now completely healthy and cancer-free for 3 years, has returned to teaching and often speaks to her students about the power of family sacrifice and the importance of education. She keeps a photo of Nadia in her white coat on her desk and tells anyone who will listen about her daughter who gave up everything to save her life. Samir, now 18 himself, is following in his sister's footsteps and has been accepted to study engineering with academic excellence. Yasmin, 15, is already taking advanced science courses and dreams of becoming a pediatric surgeon. The sacrifices that Nadia made for her family have inspired her siblings to pursue their own dreams with determination and gratitude. Dr. Layla's scholarship program, inspired by Nadia's story, has now helped over 200 Palestinian students pursue higher education despite financial hardships. The program has become a model for other educational charities throughout the Middle East. When will the world ensure that young people never have to choose between saving their loved ones and pursuing their education? When will healthcare and higher education be accessible to all, regardless of economic circumstances? Every brilliant mind deserves the chance to contribute to society without impossible sacrifices. If you believe that no student should have to give up their dreams to save their family, if you believe that both healthcare and education should be basic human rights, please like this video so this story of sacrifice and redemption can reach more people. Right now, thousands of people are watching this story. Let's make sure Nadia's message of love and perseverance reaches every corner of the world. Can you imagine if your own daughter had to choose between medical school and saving your life? Can you imagine if your family's survival depended on sacrificing your children's futures? Think about the educational opportunities available in your community. How many brilliant young people might be making similar impossible choices? Every like, every comment shows that families like Nadia's and students facing impossible choices are not forgotten. If you believe that sacrifice and love should be rewarded with opportunity, leave a Palestinian flag emoji in the comments. Subscribe to our channel to show that you stand with young people who put family before personal ambition and with scholarship programs that recognize character alongside academic achievement. Tomorrow we'll bring you another story that will remind you of the incredible power of sacrifice and the way that love can open unexpected doors. Don't miss it. Subscribe so we can continue sharing these important stories of family devotion, educational dreams, and the scholarships that make impossible futures possible. Will you share a prayer for students like Nadia and all the scholarship programs that support them in the comments? They need our recognition, our support, and our commitment to making both healthcare and education accessible to everyone. Show your reaction, let them know that their sacrifices matter, and that the world believes in rewarding selflessness with opportunity. Note, the names mentioned in this story have been changed for privacy purposes. This story is inspired by real events experienced by families facing medical crises and students receiving educational scholarships in Palestine.